I know all that stuff, Victoria. I'm steeped in the lore of the prairie. It's been said that Pam Ewing and Victoria Principal couldn't be more different. I know that you may have said this before, but for a British audience, obviously we haven't seen you before. Are you very different from the character you portray?
Well, we work in the same place. Are we very different? I think in the beginning we were very much alike. In the miniseries, Pamela was more outspoken, and I think she had a bit more fire. And then as the years progressed, she became more quiet and a little more submissive, and I think that's where we parted ways.
I mean, you wouldn't, in real life, really fancy anybody like Bobby Ewing, would you?
That's a loaded question. In deference to Mrs. Duffy, who was Patrick's wife, he's... oh, dear. Well, I can't say that that's true. I don't know if I'd fancy the rest of the family.
You're trying to say that you admire him as an artiste, but you wouldn't necessarily want to go out with him to dinner, which you continually appear to do. Why is everything taking place over lunch or dinner in Dallas?
Because they eat enormous amounts of food.
They do, don't they? And drink.
Let's see, they're alcoholics and obese.
Yeah.
No.
How do you stay sober? Always smashing it back.
No, actually, I suppose a lot of things do take place over dinner on the show.
Everything takes place over dinner.
In fact, since Pam has moved out, she very seldom eats or drinks.
Is she going to finish up with that fellow with the ferret under his nose?
No, I can't say. Actually, I don't really know myself. We find out week to week.
You get as confused by the script as we do.
It is. But I don't find out until a few days before I begin shooting.
Do you get involved in the script? You know, do you actually ask the script writers, well, come on, I'd like to know what's going to happen next?
Oh, very much so, yes.
And do they tell you?
No. No, they tell me as much as they can. And sometimes there are things that I feel that Pam wouldn't do or say. And then we have a sort of standoff over that.
And who wins?
Well, if I don't say it, I suppose I win. I mean, but there have only been, I think, 2 occasions in the entire history of the show that's happened.
Pam would never be like that, would she?
No, actually, that was why I refused to say something. I felt it was a sexual slur, and I felt that Pam would never say something like that. And I felt it was really going against the grain of her character.
Are you happy the way she's gone? Or would you have liked the character to take another direction?
I think to play a character that I so admire, and that is so beloved.
You don't admire Pam Ewing.
Of course I admire her.
People think she's a dummy.
No, I think she's a sweetheart.
Oh, eh?
But she's not. No, she's a sweetheart.
You must occasionally think, I mean, you're an intelligent woman, you must play the part, think, my God, why is she doing this?
There are times when I wish Pam would speak up, but there are other times where she's made me very welcome.
That's got to be good. I don't want to beat you to death over Dallas because we'd like to talk about you, but it's the child. Is that Christopher?
Who is that Christopher?
Well, you can't like him, can you? You're supposed to be his mother.
Of course not. He's not mine.
No, I know. How could anybody like him?
He's growing into his looks.
That's lovely. What does that mean?
You mean because he was an ugly baby?
What did they deliberately pick him to be that ugly? So that you would look good beside him?
I'm also the producer.
Ah! It's nepotism. It's nepotism.
It's very healthy.
It's just, he looks as if you've been spiking his orange. He comes on like this.
Where's the date child?
He doesn't act much, does he? He's very
We've just
homely.
started to talk.
Yeah, he's always looking past you at the director.
Oh, of course he is.
So the producer's his father, and the director is his uncle.
They're not the same. mean?
They always reveal, well, you need say no more. But the child always looks like he has just stopped crying or is about to burst into tears.
The sweetest child in the world. No, he's really
Why is he
lovely.
crying so much? What are you doing to
He
the
needs
child?
to work. I don't know. I mean, he's just a baby. He wants to go back to his real mommy. I mean, we get along fine.
How long will it all go on, do you think?
The show?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think we're all just astounded and so pleased that it's still number one. It's just recently...
Is he number one above
in America?
dysentery?
It's yes, it is, actually. It's still... They just revealed the numbers again for this year in the United States, and it's number one once again.
Still all number one. I know you're supposed to say you get on very well with everybody, but there must be a Look at the place, Sue Ellen.
Linda?
Linda. She's not a chum, is she?
No, she is, in fact.
Is she?
Yeah.
Really?
Really?
Come on.
Really?
Is there not a sort of jealousy about, hang on, you had 6 lines there, and I've only got 5 lines here?
No,
there
we
must,
don't
there's-
count
a lot of
lines.
that goes on with actors and actresses.
No, we're very lucky. We've been working together 6.5 years, all of us, and there's a family atmosphere. I know everyone looks for something. It's like any family. It's like any relationship. When you have people working together nonstop for 6.5 years, because we work 5 days a week in LA and 6 days a week in Dallas, you either don't get along from the beginning, or you get along wonderfully. And that's what's happened, that people look for things. They try and make things happen. The unhappy thing is that if the press keeps at it, it can cause hurt feelings. It really can. And then you have to get together and say, you know, what is this? And then you have to decide to form a uniform attitude towards the press and keep out that kind of dissension.
It is a success, obviously, so it will go on, you think. But what's going to happen to your career when it eventually, as it must, finishes?
I will fulfill the terms of my contract, so I don't
Please do.
I don't know that I'll necessarily go on as long as the show does.
But when you finish, how are you going to move away from the image that has been created of Pam Ewing?
With great difficulty. I think it will take a lot of work on my part. I think it's going to be very difficult the first few years to break out of. I know if someone were in my living room once a week as a character, I'd find it very hard to see them as anyone else. And so I've anticipated that, but I think there's enough time for me to.
And the money will always be a comfort.
I think I've been wise and saved my money and invested, which actually is a lot of series people don't foresee that one day it will end. Why are you smiling?
I'm smiling. I just like to hear you talking completely differently from Pam Ewing, because she'd never invest her money because she's a complete idiot with that kind of thing.
Well, she married well.
It's very, very hard work, obviously, what you do. You get up very early in the morning. How hard is it for you to climb into the old makeup every morning? You're out there on the set. It can't be easy. It's tough.
No, it's not that tough. I mean, look, I get up between 4 and 4:30. I'm in makeup at 5:48. For some unusual reason, I'm supposed to be there at 5:40. I think because I'm always late, so I'm there at 6.
How long does it take you to do the makeup?
Half a day. No, hair and makeup takes 2 hours, and we're on the set and we start shooting until 6 or 7.
What do you look like before the makeup goes on?
Just like this. It's a waste of
Do
time.
you? Now, I know you have done very well out of various books and records for exercises and keeping the body beautiful. That's one of your things, isn't it? Millions of people buy the books and listen to you when you talk about keeping fit and all. How much time of the day do you give to actually keeping the body beautiful?
Well, it's an entire concept of a way of living. It's I'd say I work out about 15 minutes a day and an hour or more on Sundays, and I play sports. But my concept is to be active in your life, not to necessarily go to a class or have to have equipment or have to take away from your life in total, but to be able to stay in shape, take good care